Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Mirai Tulekima Global Leadership Organization, an organization that have a mission to make sure people understand that they are unlimited and that they have greatness inside of them. And really, we're pushing people that we interact with to discover their greatness, unleash their greatness, and create greatness in their environment, in their community, and wherever they can. So for us, it's all about greatness, and that's what this show is all about. We're bringing you champion, we're bringing you people with story of triumph, and people who help you to give you strategies, tools to go to the next level of your greatness. And today I have an exceptional woman. We're going to talk about empowering the disabled and the underprivileged. She's been doing, this work in India. On top of all of that, she's also the co-founder of Bringle Academy and her association name is Vardaan Association, but she's also a veteran in the IT industry and a disabled activist. And her name is Shamila Divatia, and we're going to discover her just now. I'm not going to, she's going to have the opportunity to introduce herself, and today we're really going to talk about what the work that she does for disabled and underprivileged. So make sure you have your pen, make sure you have something to write on, and really take notes and engage with us if you have any question for Shamila. And let's have this debate, because I think sometimes it's we don't talk about the disabled people, we don't talk about the underprivileged. It's kind of a taboo conversation, but today we have decided to put them, on the spot and get to know exactly what's going on and get to know people who are advocating and championing them. So don't go anywhere. I'll bring Shamila after we have the generic, and we'll have this amazing and necessary conversation. Don't go anywhere.
But as I got older, I started to be more aware of some of the abusive sides of
So good evening, Shamila. Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. I'm so honored to have you today and to talk about a very important topic, and that we don't always talk about, and really appreciate all the work that you're doing. So before we get to that point, can you please let us know who you are and what you do, and what are the key things that led you to do what you do now in your life and in your activism activity?
Thank you, and the honor is mine to be here on this show with you. I am Shamila Divatia, and I am a encephalitis survivor. I had encephalitis at the age of 5.5, and my half my body, my left side had been uh, paralyzed.
Mhm.
So I lost my eye, my speech, my voice box, my hand, and my leg. I have recovered a lot with
Mhm.
15 years of therapy and with excellent doctors and therapists who have been with me all through my uh, illness and my uh, recovery. You'll find some gap in my speech, and I can't really use my left hand.
Mhm.
But beyond that, my intellect is fine. The brain works overtime, I would say, and I have MSc in maths. I have a diploma in computer science and a MBA in operations.
Mhm.
Uh, I have 32 years of uh, experience in the IT field, a large experience in a varied industry sectors.
Mhm.
And I have had a very fulfilling life with the challenges that I have
Mhm.
got. I swim, I cycle, I run marathons. I
Mhm.
don't have a barrier to living life ever.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's because my parents never taught me to back down from any challenge.
Mhm.
So when I had these challenges, they have left me to handle a lot of things on my own, and
Mhm.
I have I think I have done pretty well with my life.
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
I am now an entrepreneur because once I came back home to take care of my parents, I realized I needed something, and I joined my ex-colleague in uh, co-founding Bringle
Mhm.
and Vardaan.
Mhm.
So Bringle is a tech company,
Mhm.
whereas Vardaan is in the social impact,
Mhm.
especially so with disability at its core. And
Mhm.
that's where I am enjoying
Mhm.
doing this work, thoroughly enjoying doing this work because
Mhm.
I am looking at skilling, reskilling, helping people with disabilities and looking at employment, looking at
Mhm.
getting people to get their confidence back in their lives.
Mhm.
So that work is an ongoing and continuous work.
Yes.
I
So
have
that's, go ahead. Sorry, I cut you.
I have been in this sector for 20 years, but
Mhm.
the amount of work and the amount of dedication that is needed is immense, and that
Mhm.
dedication I have got from my business partner Anshab Jain. He
Mhm.
has been a rock.
Mhm.
I have his full support. I have uh, him as a sounding board friend. It's been an amazing journey to love.
That's powerful, isn't it? When you have somebody that you can count on and who has your back, it just gives you more strength, and it's really it's really important to have those people around. So we're gonna have just a short break video, and then we come back and really talk about what you do to help, others, disabled people, because you went through it, all the challenges, how it can be difficult, and now you're helping people. So it's just amazing what you're doing. But we're gonna come back and talk about it. But let's just watch a video just now.
Dear global leaders, decision makers, and
I feel so blessed to be able to just live my life and have people be motivated by it.
I have a spinal cord injury. And so when I was seeing people roll by, I was like, wow, so that's what I'm gonna look like.
I think I'll do a bit of it. I think it's cancer.
I was born paralyzed. I was born with spina bifida. So I've been paralyzed my whole life, and it's the only life I know. So I had to kind of grow into learning I was different.
My biggest insecurity is my legs. So I decided, hey, if that's my biggest insecurity, then I'm gonna start a gene line. And all of the pictures are based around my jeans and my legs and other people's legs. And that's where I realized that it's okay to be different, because once you embrace it, your entire world changes.
People they'll not react to me a lot of times. So I make little jokes like, hey, calm down, it's okay. I'll be okay.
I would have people treat me as if I wasn't really there, and I would have people treat me like they didn't want anything to do with me. And perhaps it's because they were scared and they didn't know any other response.
One of my favorite things is when I'm out in public and I have all my girls with me who are all in chairs, who are all gorgeous. And we literally love when we see heads just turn.
Society doesn't correlate disability and being attractive. We are beautiful people. Everyone's beautiful in their own way, but we can be stylish. We can be gorgeous and stunning and fabulous, as I like to say, because yes, I see myself as being fabulous.
Being a dancer, once a dancer, always a dancer, I didn't stop. So I would go out to the clubs and I would get my boogie on. And I was surprised by how guys would approach me and be like, hey, you're hot. And they wouldn't say, you're still hot. They would say, you're hot.
There is the black and white. There's the bad and there's the good. So as long as you're focusing on the good, then the bad just seems to melt away.
We're only given one life, and you gotta be proud of it.
You want to bust a couple of moves? What?
Perfect. Let's get a cut.
So we are back with Shamila, and we are talking today about empowering disabled and underprivileged. And Shamila has been there herself, and she's now helping other people who are going through the same process. So Shamila, I wanted to ask you, what do you do exactly to help? What are the concrete things that you do to help the disabled people in your communities, but also how are you organized? Because I know that disability in developing countries and in a lot of countries in Asia is still a taboo. So how are you, going through all of these taboo things and all the challenges that can come with, trying to empowering the disabled?
Right. Well, I was a very shy and introvert child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it took my family to get me out of my shell.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very thankful of that I had very understanding and very progressive parents and
Mm-hmm.
family. So I went to school. I was never treated differently.
Mm-hmm.
I played to my heart's content. I had therapy, which I hated, but I had to do. And I
Mm-hmm.
understand today how much it has helped me.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a whole lot of friends, even today. I mean, I'm connected to my uh, childhood friends till now. So that support system is what has helped me grow to this level. And I'm looking to give support to people who need it.
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago, uh, made a small statement that I have come to a stage where I can be on my own and help people.
Mm-hmm.
That stuck, and I started to look at different options where I could help people.
Mm-hmm.
And disability was one such area where I knew the score. I knew what it felt to be disabled.
Mm-hmm.
And I started from there. I have been a director at the Government of India.
Mm-hmm.
I still work with the Government of India on disability. I work with the industry on disability. In fact, I am looking at uh, automotive uh, industry to get some things done to have an easier way to drive
Mm-hmm.
in India for the disabled. I
Mm-hmm.
am also looking at the education system and the education institution campuses modified a little bit to ease
Mm-hmm.
people's lives, not only disabled, making accessible. Uh, I mean, any office, any institution is a it's not just the disabled.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at accessibility at a very large scale,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking at transport, also education as a sector to ease people's lives, not just disability. Disability will be taken care,
Mm-hmm.
but look at adults. We have a very large older generation which
Mm-hmm.
needs help, which I don't think that we will want to see in ourselves today. That 20 years hence, we will be at that stage.
Mm-hmm.
So I would rather have systems in place, things in place, so that 20 years hence I am not in the state that my parents' generation is in.
Mm-hmm.
That is the work I am looking at. I am working towards that aim to have a barrier-free life.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what are the, because you're working with the government of India, so they're helping you in your action. So how serious is the problem in India, in terms of, do you have like a large population that is disabled? Is it concentrated somewhere? And how do you, because one of the main thing is to find, to help them to be independent, find jobs. So how do you do that? How do you have any partnership except, because there's obviously the government, but
Yes.
are you also working with the private sector? What is the process?
Okay. The government can do so much,
Mm-hmm.
but it is up to the citizenry as well to
Mm-hmm.
take up the cause and understand that being different is not in any manner being less.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that awareness programs, one, the education system needs to be overhauled so that anyone who is homebound can still be schooled, homeschooled. Anyone who is looking at can get that with
Mm-hmm.
technology available at their end. Anyone who needs help can give a call and get help. Let's say an elder person needs a helper to get out of the house, run errands for them,
Mm-hmm.
and get them or whatever they need.
Mm-hmm.
So I would want to look at a network of people who do this voluntarily or be paid
Mm-hmm.
to do this. But as an entire network that we set up, I would also expect some industry help from the private industry, of course, to get things up and running for the disabled people in jobs. Because this is right. It's probably the hand that doesn't work. In that case, I use a voice recognition software on my computer because I am not able to type. So that's fine. Yeah, I have an alternate way to communicate. I am not limited by not using my hand. Ought and has to be told that these are equally good options. Please do not look at things in one dimension. It has to be across the board. I sit on boards and I would not want language as a barrier. I would not want disability as a barrier. I would not want gender as a barrier. So why should I prevent people from working, from learning, from living a full life? So that thought process has to sink in. It has not with the entire population. I understand it needs time, it needs intense awareness campaigns, and it needs a different look. How can I teach people to be accepting of differences in a different way, through theater, through art, however way. I will do it. I will try my level best to get people to in the populace. It doesn't matter to me how long it will take me, but I will do my level best to do that.
So do you do an awareness campaign? Because as you could see in the video, there's always a way, other people look at, disabled people. They kind of, either they're scared or they think that they have nothing to do with them. So how are you managing that, with the work that you do
Yes,
and with people?
Some people are scared, but not all. And I've seen a lot of difference in these last 50 years. 50 years ago, people were scared. People used to make fun of me. I remember that. And I have led a very charmed life because of that. It has made me, I think it's made me a bit persistent, I would say. It doesn't bother me any longer that people don't accept me as I am. I accept myself as I am. And I work with that level of intensity to get things done. Yes, scared, unaccepting, to a large extent, I think intimidated is the word that I would use. Not scared, intimidated by the level of I would say the capacity and the capability I have. So even today it is there, but not to the extent that I have seen, say, 20 years ago or 40 years ago. Some people are still intimidated, but most of them get to know me. They are pretty fine with the way I am.
So there've been a progress. So you've seen that.
Yes, I have seen that, and I have been a part of that progress in education, in career options, in my school itself. I have seen the way I was treated. I mean, beautiful school. I have no words. Wonderful staff. I have immense respect for people who have given me wings. My teachers, my family, my parents.
Because you're also teaching, isn't it? You're teaching at
Yes.
Institution. So how is it going? Are you teaching disabled people, or are you teaching people without disability?
I am teaching media professionals. I'm teaching the teachers I
Mm-hmm.
am also teaching journalists and
Mm-hmm.
TV anchors. My course is media and disability communication. How do you
Mm-hmm.
make communication available to disabled people?
Mm-hmm.
How do you make a movie accessible? How do you make a newspaper accessible?
Mm-hmm.
So those kind of things are still at a very nascent level, but they are there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't miss an opportunity to put my efforts in getting things done at any level,
Mm-hmm.
anywhere.
Fantastic. It's just amazing. I mean, you've been doing for years, and I think people must appreciate that because you're giving so much, to the community. Not only helping the one who need it, but also educating people who don't
Yeah,
understand what it is to
that's
be
right.
disabled. And I think that's probably the big part because when people don't understand and don't accept, other people, it's very difficult. It can be a very difficult and challenging environment for everybody. So we're going to have another break, Shamila, and we'll be back and continue on, and our, amazing conversation and a little bit, go deep into what you do and how you help, disabled and underprivileged in India. So for those listening or watching, don't go anywhere. We're going to have just a short break and we'll be back.
Over 1 billion people worldwide have a disability. That's more than 15% of the world's population. Most live in developing countries. This number is expected to grow due to factors such as conflict, aging, stunting, and natural disasters. Persons with disabilities face higher rates of poverty compared with others. They encounter biases and barriers when accessing basic services. When they're excluded, it's harder to escape the cycle of poverty and marginalization. That's why disability inclusive development plays an important role in the World Bank's goals of ending extreme poverty and promoting shared prosperity. How do we break down barriers and ensure no one is left behind? By enabling Imani to go to school, providing her teacher with the tools necessary to meet her needs, and giving her family access to support services and assistive devices. By helping Lee understand a high-risk situation in the event of an emergency, and fostering a work environment that gives them a reasonable accommodation through visual signage and other devices. When persons with disabilities are included in everyday activities, they can and do participate and contribute to society. Join us in building inclusive, resilient, and sustainable communities for all. Let's start here and learn more. Download the framework from our resource platform.
So we are back with the amazing Shamila. But before we continue the conversation, just wanted to say hi to everybody that is watching. So there's Tamika, she's watching from the US and she is inspired by your journey. We have Thierry from Cameroon, that's in West Africa, and we have Shalini, beautiful, inspiring show. Thank you, Shalini. And also Real Truth Power. So that's a brother from the US watching as well. So all very, inspired. And then you have a message from Gita. Shamila, we are very proud of your journey and amazing strength you have, and you share with us all. So And again, awesome information. And I think that's the power of communication. And you've talked about it. It's about, being able to communicate, being able to create awareness so that people start to appreciate and don't really look just at the physical aspect of the person, or looking at the limitation of the person, but more looking at the strength of the person. And my question, because you've seen in the video, they're talking about high level of poverty in the disabled community. So how do you address that? And in your capacity, how do you help to reduce the poverty in for disabled and underprivileged?
Poverty can be addressed at the level of employment, and employment will need some level of education today. So the first step, to my understanding, is education, and education has to be the starting point, which in our country we sadly lack. We have to be 100% literate, otherwise the bias continues. Because not having a hand has not hampered me in any manner. I mean, nothing. I told you, I swim, I cycle, I ride a motorcycle. I don't ride a car because it's really important for me to be safe. But nothing stops me from driving. But it's okay. I endure without it. Here, if I have not been educated, had I been at home without an education, I wouldn't get a job, I wouldn't be employed, and at what cost? So the first thing is education. And that is where I am really focusing on. Aids and appliances. Government has a lot going on the aids and appliances. What I intend doing is propagate that and get therapists. There's an entire network to be tapped. Therapists, counselors, because the family has to accept the person first and then go ahead. So the acceptance comes from within. The person is immediately confident of doing something. That confidence has to be built over time with the family as a backbone. So that the family needs counseling first. Be it a child or an adult, it doesn't matter. It's always the family that needs counseling. Apart from the person, I myself went for anger management because I didn't know how to handle my anger. And that anger built up over the years. So I had counseling. It took me about a few months to get over that. But that's fine. Natural thing to be angry at what has happened with you. So get it out of the system. and carry on with the work.
Yeah.
So those things have to be acceptance, and then get to work.
So first step basically start with, education, but before you can, educate the person, there's the acceptance process that the person has to accept, and it comes from within. And also, prepare the family, because they have to be prepared to support their family member, especially when things are not going well. So everybody needs to support to the support in the family, and then get them to the education and get them to work. So when they work, they obviously go now with they are in a diverse environment where they need to deal with a lot of emotions. So do you also continue to give them the support when they are in the a working environment?
Yes. Look at the school. The school needs to be sensitized. The staff, the children, the teenagers, because children can be cruel without knowing it. So they have to be sensitized. I remember getting to know, I think about 20 years ago, that my school had sensitized the entire class. My teacher had sensitized the entire class before I entered it. So, and I got to know of it very late in my age that this had happened. My principal read up on that problem. He talked to the teachers. The teachers in turn talked to the entire school. And that's how I have been accepted in the school as just one of the students. It was never an issue that left hand or I didn't do certain tasks. So that's fine.
So they, like you said, there's been progress. So how do you think because we are in the middle of this, fourth industrial revolution, digitalization, internet, artificial intelligence, robots. How do you think it's going to help, with the disabled people? How do you think? Is it a good thing? Is it something that you're going to capitalize?
It's a good thing. If I give you numbers, 79% of the disabled people are not going to school. Okay, about 20% work, and just about 8% make the cut. Who earn well, who are living well, just about 8%, and that is the entire population of around 26 million. So if you go by the numbers, it's a huge number. Yeah, if I go across the globe, it's massive. We have 10% of our population disabled. So, and when you look at mass education, the only way you can do it is with technology.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't any other way.
Mm-hmm.
And to get to that, we need infrastructure. We need a education hub in each village where people can get internet, people can get a laptop or a desktop at their service for a couple of hours, learn things, go out and implement. It's not just the students. We have a huge farming community there. So everyone utilizes that particular hub to live, learn, and get things up and running for the country, for the globe, for humanity.
Yeah. So and that's important to say, because sometimes we don't really do we don't do the math, and it's important to have the numbers and understand how serious the problem is, and really focus on being solution oriented, instead of focusing on the problem and focusing on what they can't do. And I think that's one of the issue that we have right now, is that when we look at disabled people, we don't look at, okay, what can they do? We just look at, they can't do this, they can't do that, and then we basically discriminate them, and that's really not what we want. I mean, there's still a huge number of them that can actually, and through education, that can actually help the economy of any country and contribute, because they have, and I like it. I had a guest from Nigeria. She's also disabled. Last year she was saying, I have different abilities. I'm not looking at myself as a disabled. I look at myself as somebody who has different abilities, and that's those abilities that I want people to focus on, instead of what I don't have, and that's important to have that. So we're going to have another break, and then we'll start the last phase of the show. But it's been so inspiring listening to you and what you do, and this passion that you have to really make a difference and create a positive impact, so that nobody is left behind, and that's key for all of us.
We explain why the inclusion of people with disabilities is good for everyone. Meet Sarah. She's a smart girl who loves to sing and help her mother to cook. When she grows up, she wants to be a teacher and get married. Sarah has cerebral palsy caused by partial damage to the brain, and therefore uses a wheelchair to move around. She's an outgoing person, and whenever she needs help, she asks for it. But while Sarah can do most things herself, she faces many barriers. Some people's attitudes, as well as physical and economic barriers, make life difficult for Sarah. They say she can't be in a choir, and so far, no school has accepted her. If Sarah can't go to school, she won't find a job, and without a job, she will always be dependent on others. This is not only a waste of her skills, it's a violation of her right to proper education. But what can be done? It's not that hard. Everybody around Sarah can help her to live her life to the fullest and gain back her rights. We need to raise awareness, for example, in education programs. That way, Sarah's community understands the nature of her disability. After setting up a local support group for parents of children with disabilities, Sarah's mother can share her experiences with others. Now, the head teacher of the closest school knows that it's Sarah's right, like any other child, to be educated well. Teachers can get disability-specific training and support from a resource centre when needed. And we need to reduce physical barriers. Building wider doorways and wheelchair ramps benefits the elderly too. When given appropriate materials, people with visual impairments can study anything. With fewer barriers, a proper education and awareness in the community, Sarah has the same chance as others of getting the job she wants. Instead of depending on others, she is appreciated for who she really is, a person of many abilities. Whether someone uses a wheelchair, lives with vision or hearing problems, or has an intellectual or other disability, let's make sure our society includes them. For more information on what you can do, get in touch with us.
So as you see, I mean, it's there's always the problem of educating the people around, and sometimes what I tell people is that, it starts with each one of us, each one of us to understand how we can include anybody. So, and to include others, we have to, understand who they are and what they can do, and then understand their strength, understand where we can find a way to bring them in, and a way to make them explore their greatness, because they have greatness as well. So I mean, the question that I want to ask you, and that's going to be probably the last question of the show, is so you've been yourself through all the hurdles and challenges. Now you're helping, you integrating, you're trying to be to make life a little bit easier for the disabled and the underprivileged. So what's next? I mean, because I know it's a big thing, but what's next for you as far as your dreams and what you still want to accomplish?
I have a lot to accomplish, Mary. In this specific field, a lot, because we have the entire humanity at the focus for disability. Disability is hidden if you can't see it. You may have mental health issues. It is still a disability, and it's not seen. So everyone has challenges, and those challenges have to be faced. And that's one thing that my parents taught all of us. I have two siblings, both brothers. So all three of us have been taught that you have to face challenges on your own. You have to learn to solve them. Yeah, the parents are there to support you. You will not fall, you will not get hurt, but you have to give a solution to your problems. We will not solve it for you unless you learn how to deal with problems in life. It's not going to work. You won't be independent. So yeah, that's what has made me independent. And maybe I am not what my parents had thought at my birth, the flower that will bloom in their garden. But at least the thing is that today they are proud to have me in their garden, the whatever way I am blooming. So yes, that is the thing, that acceptance that they have given me, the love that they have given me, is what is going to change everything. So the next thing probably would be to start with the industry where I was talking about accessibility in the industry, in the entire work setup that I intend to change. And I have the perseverance to change things. That is one thing I learned about myself in these past 50 years. That I have the patience and the perseverance to wait for the right time and the right place and the right people. And today I have all three with me, and I intend to change the world.
And I love this message, and that's what this show is all about. This message of hope, this message of where you understand that you have greatness, is irrespective of what people can say. You know you have the greatness, and when you discover that and when you believe that, nothing can stop you. You change the world, and I know that you're going to change the world. You already started, I mean, in India, and now you are here in Australia. Everybody is listening to you, so the change is on the way. And you're empowering other people, and you've seen, I mean, there's people from all over the world, the US, Africa, it's every corner. So I really believe that, this change is on the way. So just, I wanted to ask you if there's something that, a particular message that you want to leave the audience with before we close out on the show.
Yes. One, accept who you are. Two, never give up.
Accept who you are.
That accept who you are and never give up. I don't have give up in my vocabulary. So that's how I've lived my life.
So make sure you accept who you are, wherever you are, accept who you are and never give up. You've listened to Shamila, a story, and you see, what she does, to make an impact. She has accepted who she is, and she has never given up, and she's ready to change the world. So make sure you learn from her. I hope you've taken a lot of notes, and you're gonna implement that as well. And what I want to ask you is now as well to help, disabled people, empower them instead of, instead of trying to belittle them, make them big. And they have, they have abilities that can help us all to go to the next level of our greatness. So thank you so much, Shamila, again, for your time and for your inspiration today. It's been amazing. And I know that, you have enlightened people today, and it's important that they understand exactly, what it is to be in your shoes, and understand that, it's a position of power, and I don't think people, see disability like that. It's a position of power. You've taken your power and you extended your territory to make an impact and make a difference and contribute to the world. And that's the most important message that we get. So how do people connect with you, Shamila?
My email, .com is available. And my
So you are on Facebook, so people can
Yes,
find you
I
on
am.
Facebook and
Yes, my
LinkedIn as
Facebook,
well.
my LinkedIn, and my all social media handles are available. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's the easiest to reach.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Fantastic. It's been an hour of inspiration, and as usual, I bring you the champion. I bring you the strong in art, the strong in mindset, and that's really what we're looking for. And I hope it's going to help you in your journey to greatness. For us today, it's a bye bye, and I again want to thank Shamila for her time, for her inspiration, for her insight, and wish you the best as you intend to continue to change the world. So that's all for today. We will be back for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show tomorrow. But in 30 minutes, I will be back with my co-host, Sabita, and we're going to have another episode of the Getting Real with Sabita and Mirai. So don't go anywhere if you want to tune in for the next show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And may you all stay safe and blessed. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.